Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back with another music review, and we're going to be looking at Moriah Peters' debut album, which came back in 2012. It's called I Choose Jesus. And to this point, I believe Moriah only has two albums out, which makes her relatively recent, even though her debut was 6 years ago. This one, like I said, was produced back in 2012 by Reunion Records, which is part of the Provident label group. I want to make sure that I give both of those a mention because Wikipedia says Reunion, iTunes says Provident label, so just want to mention both of them just to kind of cover my basis there. The album itself has 10 tracks, and I'll try to get through all of these as quickly as possible. Track one is Know Us by Our Love. So this is very happy feeling kind of a style. It sounds similar to reggae, but it's not like full on reggae like like a Bob Marley kind of reggae style. It doesn't really quite follow that, but there's some elements of it in there, I think. The song is a call to God's people to start leading people to Jesus. It's a fairly simple, straightforward message. Track two is Well Done. This one's got sort of a shuffle, bouncy feel to it. It's a lot, there's more happy guitar going on in the background. You're going to hear me say that word a lot. There's a lot of happiness to this album. There's really not much to this one, I don't think. I was reading somewhere that this made it as one of the singles on the radio. I really don't see how though. There's just not much to this one, I don't think. The singer talks about how she wants to live a life that would make God say, "Well done." So again, it's a good song, but I don't see how it was quite good enough to make the radio. But that's just me personally. Track three is "Sing in the Rain." So this has a simple piano pattern at the start, and then it's gets joined by other instruments rather. There's a pretty cheerful feeling to this one. It's a partially bright chorus, and the message is, though she wishes life could be pleasurable like sunshine, comparing life to sunshine, she will continue to sing in those tough rainy times. So it's an analogy of sunshine is good, rain is bad, but we're gonna keep pushing on and focusing on Jesus even in the rainy times or whatever. And that's an analogy that's used pretty commonly in songs. Personally, though, I like I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but personally, I would like a song that shares the fact that rain isn't exactly all bad. We use rain and storms as an analogy of bad times in life, but really rain is not as bad as some people think it is. But that's a lesson for another time, I suppose. Track four is I Choose Jesus. So this has piano and vocals to start us off, and this one goes into a more contemporary feel than that bouncy guitar heavy kind of thing. It's the singer has searched for meaning and has found it in Jesus, who cared for her first. So in other words, Jesus cared for her first, so she's responding back by caring for him because of the love that she's found in him. The second verse. So in the second verse, there's a line that says, "I see the cross and I believe." I just wanted to make a little bit of mention of that. A line like that almost comes pretty close to negating the concept of what faith is, because none of us have actually seen the cross itself, like the real cross. We never actually saw Jesus physically on the cross. The disciples did, but we haven't. We have to, I don't know. I don't think she's trying to go that route, but I just want to, try to combat any possible misconception that could be going along there. It's not that we're seeing. It's not about seeing the actual cross and believing because we see that. It's all because of faith. So that's the one little warning that I have for that. Aside from that, though, pretty good song. Track 5 is Haven't Even Kissed. This is very acoustic, and I'll say pop, maybe a little bit of reggae style to it. I really don't know, to be honest with you. All I know is it has a very acoustic sound to it. But as for pinpointing a certain type of style, I can't really narrow it down. The guitar carries pretty much carries the song. It's as for the message, it seems. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention the song is a little bit of a quiet nature to it. She never really gets too loud or powerful with the vocals. It's all pretty mellow. The singer is ecstatic about her love and relationship with God, which appears to be in its infancy, and she kind of takes a jab at relationships, the romantic kind of relationships that we have with people who rely on physical things like kissing. And so basically she's saying, I've got this great relationship with God, we feel this way about each other, and we haven't even kissed. In other words, we don't need any of that kind of bullcrap to have a love in our relationship or anything like that. So it's kind of a interesting little jab. I would like the song more though if it was just a little bit less boring to listen to, because everything else as far as that goes has something going for it. But it is what it is. Track 6, All the Ways He Loves Us. So this one actually has a drum lead into a contemporary style, so cool for that. So the chorus, specifically the lyrics, are sung in triplets. So listen to the song to see what that sounds like. But all the lyrics are sung in triplets, and I don't think the music itself, like the backgrounds, I think is still being played straight, if I'm remembering correctly. So creates an interesting dynamic there. And yeah, aside from the chorus, though, I can say for sure that the rest of the lyrics are sung straight. It's it's normally played a straight song, but anyway, it testifies to Jesus' demonstration of love and how we praise him for it. How we give him praise for it. So again, a nice little song. Gets the point across, and it's got a couple interesting things going musically for it, I suppose. Track 7 is Glow, so we have yet even more of a happy contemporary feel going for us. Guitar, it might possibly be a ukulele, but I don't really have an ear to tell the difference that much. Sometimes it's really obvious, and then other times like this, it's a little bit harder for me anyway to tell the difference. But whatever that is what's leading the song off. The singer lives in a bright lit city, but people's hearts are dark. She has what they need, but she has to overcome her fear to share it with them. So it encourages us to be a light to the world. And I'll say, I think this is one of the few songs where Moriah gets to do a little bit more with her vocals. Not much, but she gets to do a little bit more with her vocals in this one, kind of like in I Choose Jesus. So I like it for that. Track 8 is Miracle. Acoustic guitar lead into sort of a moderate swing, actually. The singer shares a bit of her testimony and sings about the miracle of love. You really can't describe it much more than that. Take a listen to it if you think that might be interesting. Having the swing style is a bonus. Give it a little bit of variety. Track 9 is No Shame. This is mostly piano. It's got some strings and a few cymbal rolls to kind of help give it some background. But the singer is talking to one who has been broken and is burdened with guilt, and she tells them of Jesus and the freedom of his mercy. So a really good song to use based off of that message then, for anyone who is, for anyone who hasn't met Jesus yet, or for anyone who has met him but are just not drawing on his strength at that particular moment. So just it's maybe one that you can keep in your back pocket. Just take a listen to it and decide for yourself. And then the final track is Bloom. So this is a slower contemporary. It's in 6/8. So kudos for more variation. The singer, it's either from the perspective of Jesus, or it's a mother singing to her daughter. I'm not entirely sure which. Could be either way. But regardless, it's a song for girls. Yes, very specifically for girls, as encouragement that the things they may go through are for a purpose and will lead to great things. So guys, we're out of luck, I suppose. But aside from that, I do like, kind of like with Glow, I like some of the things that are going on musically. I like some of the things that Moriah is able to do with her voice in this one. So it's a good closer to the album. So that is all the tracks. So let's quickly summarize this here. If you're looking for a feel-good, happy set of songs, this may be for you. Mariah's debut is designed to encourage and lift up people's spirits. That's what I got out of it. The music reflects this type of goal with its lighthearted nature and simplistic composition. However, I would recommend it more for girls than for guys, because unlike Barlow Girl's debut, where much of the subjects in the songs were written for girls, the music itself in this one sounds a little bit more feminine. At least that's the only way I know how to describe it, and it just sounds more feminine than my personal tastes can really tolerate. This does not mean that guys can't listen to it, but if they're like me, they're probably not going to enjoy it very much. All in all, I'm going to be nice and I'm going to give it a 2.9 out of 5. This is the first album that I've reviewed that pushes being boring as a whole, which is not a good sign. And it's not because necessarily that the album is boring itself. It's boring to me. And so I have to make mention of that. It does have its little bitty gems in there, but I mean overall, just the album as a whole was just kind of boring. There was not. Mariah's voice is pretty decent, but she doesn't get a chance to really let herself go. There's no song on here where she can really take advantage of her vocals and really display the voice that God gave her. Everything is just very contained, very within a box, and it fits the musical style that she's going with, but there's nothing there to push her vocals at all. And so I would like to see something like that come about in her career. And furthermore, there's not a song on the album that really grabs my attention like in previous albums. At least in previous albums, there might be like one song that really kind of stands out above the rest of them. And there kind of sort of is, but it doesn't stand out enough to make the album rank a little bit better with me. But basically, the bottom line is there's nothing in it that I hate. It's just very, very basic. It's a very basic album, to me anyway. But like I did mention just a little bit ago, there are a few gems. And so the top song, instead of calling it a favorite, I'm going to call it the top song of the album, bar none, is I Choose Jesus. Great song, easily the best one I would recommend for possible worship song. The best display of Mariah's vocals, in my opinion, in the entire album. It's very good. Other songs that you may want to check out, I'm gonna say are "Glow" and "Bloom." And again, I've already touched on some of the reasons why. It's, for example, just different things that they're doing in the music, different things that Mariah does with her vocals. It's just, they give it, those things give those songs just enough edge for me to say people, hey, you should probably check these out a little bit more than the rest of them. But that is all I have for this album. Thank you guys very much for listening. And I think next time I have two artists specifically I want to get into before we go back to reviewing some of the stuff from way years past. And I'm thinking of looking at both Audrey Assad, who I love her voice, and Danny Gokey, who I really love his voice. Which one of those I do first, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm either going whichever one of them I do, I will do their debut album. If I had to put money on it, I would say it's probably going to end up being Danny Gokey first. But I want to do both of those, and then once that is done, I will go back and I will start reviewing more of the artists that I've reviewed thus far. Maybe add a couple new ones where I can, but I'm trying desperately to get some of these other people caught up to modern times. But you know, it just kind of is what it is. I've got, you know, so much music to review, but anyway, that kind of gives you guys a game plan for what the reviews are going to be like. But we're going to go ahead and end this one off. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of this album. If you think my opinions are stupid or anything like that, leave a comment. Otherwise, let me end this off as I usually do. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And as always, take care. Always take care. Always